Let's talk about jobs. The solar industry, I want to know how many jobs you have in California and how many people you're hiring, because a lot of people talk about clean tech, green collar jobs. Tell us what's happening on the ground. Danny Kennedy?
This is my favorite topic. I'm on the board of the Solar Foundation, in full disclosure, which does an annual census, so a head count, not a forecast or a model, but who's got employees around the country. We're now in 50 states, companies across the country employing Americans, and the total number is 120,000 as of last October. And it grew from about 105,000 in October 2011. So it's the only industry that we know of over 100,000 employees growing by 15,000 through that very hard year, despite all the negativity around the solar space. Double-digit growth. Imagine that in America. So huge success story. But get this is really important. 120,000 Americans work in the solar industry. We're at less than 1% of the electricity supply, as has been mentioned a number of times here. The coal industry, which is crashing from 50% at the start of the century to less than a third today, employs a total of 160,000 people, about 80,000 miners, a bunch of people in railroads, because 50% of freight on rail in this country is coal, and then the power plant operators. So at a third, 33%, they've got 160,000 people. At 1%, we've got 120,000 people. Any economic model suggests we'll be 10% of the Californian grid and some significant percentage of the rest of the grid before too long. So we will employ millions of Americans by those numbers. Even if we get lots of scale efficiencies and improve our own businesses, we'll still employ hundreds of thousands of more, which is the other reason solar wins, is because in this day and age, coming out of a recession, employment is a premium, and we create jobs. We are the job creation engine in America.
Lyndon, Rive, you're the public company. Tell us how many you employ and how many you're hiring.
So we have 2,600 employees today, a little over 2,600 employees. We are averaging about 6 people a day, new hires, and that's not fast enough. Our number one constraint is hiring good people.
Okay. Ed Fenster?
So we directly employ about 250 people, but support a network of local companies that employ about 3,000. And I would, just to kind of crystallize Danny's point, fundamentally what residential solar does is it eliminates the cost of building big expensive transmission lines. Like those big transmission lines are strung by helicopter. I mean, it's like, and they're expensive to build, and they have to bulldoze homes to build them. And instead of spending the money bulldozing homes and on helicopters,
disturbing turtles, yeah.
Instead, it's all labor cost. So it's actually a really efficient sort of transition from spending cost on metal and wires and helicopters and moving turtles to just people.
And these are jobs that can't be exported to China, so they're service and installation jobs?
It's really hard to do that from China.
So
you need very long arms.
which is a really key point. There's been a lot of weird coverage of the phenomena that is low-cost solar coming out of China and other manufacturing centers. But actually that's a boon to us all for a couple of reasons. One is more people can adopt it here. We can offer better electricity rates for that compression in price and employ more people, because 3 out of 4 people employed in the solar value chain are employed after the factory gate, doing the installation, the sales, the finance, and the maintenance. And the other boon from low-cost solar we should just acknowledge is that China is now going solar. And we've all been very worried about the climate impacts of China going coal. Well, a third of all PV produced last year was reconsumed in the Chinese economy. And they're taking it up faster than we are at a rate of knots. I mean, there was 0 about 10 years ago in China, and now there's more than there is in the United States after 50 years with the technology.